Donald Trump declaring war, and House Speaker Paul Ryan unleashing an angry Twitter storm, declaring he no longer has to wear shackles and he can fight for the country the way Trump wants. He's saying, quote, "Our very weak and ineffective leader, Paul Ryan, had a bad conference call where his members went wild at his disloyalty." He went on to say Paul Ryan should spend more time on balancing the budget, jobs, and illegal immigration, and not waste his time on fighting Republican nominee. In yesterday's show, we had Home Depot co-founder Bernie Marcus. He first responded to this budding feud.
If Donald Trump does not get elected president of the United States, that the media has done a great job, and I think that all of the Republicans, including Paul Ryan, bought it hook, line, and sinker. You know, if you had to go after Hillary Trump on the facts, on her history, on the things that she talks about and she has talked about on a trail, there isn't a Republican out there that would support her. But they've been frightened by the Wall Street, but not the Wall Street Journal, but certainly by the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, NBC. They bought it, and now they're turning on her, and that's exactly what they wanted to happen.
Well, I'm really happy to tell you that joining me now is the other co-founder of Home Depot. Ken Langone is with me now. What do you think of this now embattled relationship between Donald Trump and Paul Ryan?
Well, let me go back and say, try to understand what Trump represents. He represents the anger and disgust of the American people with their elected officials. Whether it's Paul Ryan, whether it's Mitch McConnell, I don't care who it is. I think the only way we're going to solve our problems in America is to get these professionals. I'm talking about the lobbyists. I'm talking about the assistants. I'm talking about the pundits. I'm talking about the media. Get them to go home. Let's turn our government over. It's not working the way it is. Paul Ryan's a fine guy. I have no trouble with Paul Ryan. But Paul Ryan's entire adult life has been in Washington, D.C. Let him come out and meet a payroll. Let him come out and go to a charter school where I do in the morning and try and help these kids do better. What we need right now, I think, is realization of what both Bernie Sanders and what Donald Trump represents. The anger and disgust of the American people with their government. They've been failed badly by their government. Look at the deficit. Look at the conditions of our roads. Public education. Of the 30 most developed nations on earth, we spend more money per student than any one of those 30 countries. We rank 28th in results. We're spending the money, but we aren't getting. How much has been discussed in this campaign about education? Nothing.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, Gallup has pointed out that 25 million people fell out of the middle class into lower income brackets since 2008, and there's only like less than half of the adult working population is working full time. And so you got to say to yourself, that small business guy out there and woman, they are hurting. They have gone upside down in small business creation.
The biggest threat to us as a nation is income inequality. But if you want to close that gap, educate people that they have economic value and people want to hire. Home Depot has never hired one single individual for minimum wage, and we never will. Go in our stores and look at the attention to detail. Look at customer service. Look at the knowledge these kids have. They all start with a decent education, and they build from there.
Yeah, it's about economic growth. Well, here's what is happening. The Republicans started out...
And Bernie's right, by the way.
Yeah,
look, Bernie and I can finish each other's sentences. I come at it a little differently. I say the challenge here is to get these career guys the hell out of Washington and let them go home and make a living the way the rest of us do.
Yeah, because...
And by the way, the American people, 87% of all Republicans want term limits. 75% of all independents and 67% of all Democrats. The American people are decidedly wanting term limits. Who prevents us from getting it? These pros with all this great experience.
All right, Ken Langone, you've been terrific. Will you come back and visit the show?
I'll definitely come back.
Love having you on. You're always great.